For the last about 4 or 5 years, I have been using the 2018 Acer Nitro 5 as my main laptop. And on this laptop, I've done everything from schoolwork, such as writing Google Docs essays, computer work for my business, such as web development, PC builds, 3D rendering, and I've even done a lot of gaming on this laptop as well, such as every once in a while I'll play Call of Duty, but mostly lighter games such as Minecraft and things like that. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about just how well an Acer Nitro 5 holds up, and if you should or should not buy a budget gaming laptop. As I'm talking about this laptop, again, this is a 2018 edition Acer Nitro 5, so they have made a lot of changes and upgrades to recent Nitro 5s, and this is just what they had back in 2018, so just something to keep in mind. The specs of this machine, it has an Intel Core i5 8300H, which is a 4-core 8-thread CPU. The GPU is a GTX 1050 Ti with 4 gigabytes of video memory. Originally, this laptop comes with 8 gigs of DDR4 in single channel mode. I threw an extra 4 gig stick of DDR4 that I had laying around to upgrade it to 12 gigabytes. And it originally comes with a 250 gigabyte Intel Optane NVMe SSD, but I added an extra SATA 1 terabyte SanDisk SSD in here. So, pretty decent specs for a budget gaming laptop. I believe when this was new back in 2018, I paid around $800 for this thing, which isn't too bad, I think, for the specs that are in here. The first pro is the display. This display is absolutely amazing. It's 1920 by 1080. The colors are amazing on this laptop. Video editing, gaming, all just looks incredible and fantastic on this display, and I absolutely love it, and you really can't go wrong with one of these displays. I believe new Acer Nitro 5s even have a 1440p option, which I haven't seen in person, but I can imagine looks amazing. My second pro about this laptop is the keyboard. I really like the highlighted WASD keys. They're easy to find when you're gaming, and it has red backlighting, which is really nice. It's a little bit of a gamery effect, but it is still nice to have backlight to be able to see what you're typing in the dark. And the keys are really nicely spaced. I really like the spacing so that you don't end up mistyping or anything. And the font is like really large and bold, so you don't end up mistyping or misclicking a key when gaming. And overall, the keyboard is just laid out really well on this laptop. My third pro of this laptop is the trackpad. While it is technically also a con because it is a plastic topped trackpad, but it does have precision drivers installed, and it allows all sorts of functionality. You can go into the Windows settings and customize and all that. And the trackpad does feel really nice. It's super smooth, very responsive, and when you're gaming, it doesn't do any like weird misclicks or anything if you have your palm resting on it, and just a really solid trackpad. The other thing I like about this laptop is the I/O. On the right side of the laptop, you have 2 USB-A ports, a charge port, and a headphone mic combo jack. And on the left side of the laptop, you have an Ethernet port, a USB-C, HDMI, USB 3.0, and an SD card slot. Now, as a YouTube video creator and a gamer, this port layout and functionality is absolutely incredible. The SD card slot is super handy to have, and if I want to dock this laptop, use it with a monitor, mouse, and keyboard, it's super easy. I can either plug in an HDMI cord or just a USB-C dock and have it all set up and ready to go off of those ports. And the fact that it has a full-size Ethernet is really awesome. A lot of laptops have gotten rid of that, and this laptop still has it, and every once in a while it's just nice to game off of Ethernet, or maybe upload a video off of Ethernet, or whatever you want to do. It's just nice to have the ability to have a zero latency, super fast connection to your Wi-Fi around it. Another pro about this laptop is that it has really nice speakers. Now, they're not the most amazing speakers. They're not going to be on the level of a Razer Blade or a MacBook or whatever. But for how cheap this laptop is, for an $800 gaming laptop, these speakers are really good. They have Dolby surround sound technology, so it makes the gaming really immersive, and the stereo sounds incredible when that is active. And they have a good amount of bass and really good highs, so you can really hear footsteps all around you, and just really solid speakers, especially for gaming. My last pro for this laptop is, interestingly enough, this may be controversial, but the styling of the laptop. I really like it. I think they really did a nice balance of balancing the gamery aspect of it and also still made it semi-classy. You know, you have the massive cooling vents on the back, which is nice, and you do have some, like, you know, extreme angles and all these red accents and everything, but they also just went with a normal lid with a black logo and this kind of brushed aluminum look, and the rest of the laptop is just kind of blacked out and just looks really clean, I think. My main con with this laptop is the build quality. They really went for all performance and not too much on the build quality. The whole thing is kind of made out of a cheap plastic, and everything is pretty flexible. They did a pretty good job of beefing it up on the inside, but there is definitely a lot of panels, I guess, on this laptop that do flex, and eventually, you know, it gets beat up. The plastic gets scratched up and chipped on the sides a little bit if you accidentally bang it around every once in a while, and it's just not amazing build quality, but I understand why they went with this plastic body to get this cheap price point. Another con is the display. Again, while it is a Pro also, it is only 60 Hz. And 60 Hz is the base refresh rate for a monitor nowadays, and even back when I bought this laptop, back in 2017, 2018, sometime in there, this refresh rate, this GTX 1050 Ti and i5 processor, we're getting way over 60 FPS. I could play most games, medium to high settings, and get about 100 FPS actually. And so the display even back then was a little bit lacking. So I believe now on newer Acer Nitro 5s, I believe you can get up to a 144 Hz display, which is a lot better. Still, you know, it's still a nice display, but just the refresh rate, I wish it was higher. This brings me to my question. Should you buy a budget gaming laptop such as the Acer Nitro 5? And I think, honestly, it's a really good bargain. While Acer will have to cut some corners to keep the cost low, such as build quality or screen refresh rate, it still offers really great performance, and this laptop is definitely getting on the older side. The battery's starting to wear out, and the GPU is starting to get a little bit behind, trying to run newer titles such as Halo, newer Call of Duties, and things like that. But it's understandable because it was a budget card back then, and yeah, and after 5 years of use out of this thing, I think it's perfectly reasonable for the laptop to start to wear out a little bit. And it's been used, I've used this laptop very heavily for video editing, 3D rendering, gaming, and I think these things are really reliable, and I plan to keep this laptop for at least another few years down the road yet. And as Acer continues to improve the Nitro 5 with higher refresh rate, bigger batteries, different GPU options, I believe you can get an Acer Nitro 5, a new one, all the way up to an RTX 3070 inside. So they're definitely upping their game when it comes to these budget laptops, and I think that's really awesome because it will not only future-proof the laptop more, but you're getting a lot of performance for a lot less. In the end, it is still a laptop. It will have high temps, it will be loud, and there's just those kinds of things to keep in mind when buying one of these laptops. But in my opinion, it's a really great deal. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I will leave a link in the description below for a few different options of the newer Acer Nitro 5s, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.